Tammara Wieder, who is the Kentucky director. And every time she's on the show, her organization's name changes, our organization name changes. So it's, it's kind of a moving target for either of us, I suppose. But it's Planned Parenthood. I think Advocates is in there. Tell us what's the name of the organization?
Thanks, Aaron. Yes, our name did change on April Fool's Day, no less. We are Planned Parenthood Alliance Advocates of Kentucky.
Rolls off the tongue. I think, but you'll answer to Planned Parenthood, right?
I will answer to Planned Parenthood.
Fantastic.
That I will.
So you are the radical feminists who want to force everyone to have abortions, right? That's what I've heard.
No, not force anybody to have an abortion. No, no. But I am the scary feminist that they do hold over. What happens to your daughters when they go to a liberal college?
So we brought you on because I just really wanted. I mean, I think you talk about women's health access in such a powerful and a just smart way. A fact-based way, which is so rare in the debate around abortion access to find facts, because it seems like it's just scare tactics and vilification. But we now have a statewide kind of referendum staring us in the face on, oddly enough, in November of 2022, there's going to be a decision facing Kentucky. It's HB 91. Tell us about that, would you?
Yeah, so House Bill 91, which will be, I don't know how it'll be numbered, but it's a constitutional amendment. So it's going to change the Kentucky Constitution to say that to protect human life, nothing in this Constitution shall be construed to secure or protect a right to abortion or require funding. And what this is, it's a scare tactic, I think, for one, because right now, in all of the states, abortion is legal, and in Kentucky as well. There are two providers, really holding the line. But I believe it's a scare tactic. It's a tactic to divide people. It's a tactic to divide even the Democratic Party in Kentucky, and to put us at odds with each other. And where, I come at this, abortion politics, I feel like is really intersectional because it's healthcare. And when we look at reproductive health outcomes across the state, we are failing. We are failing horribly. Women of color, are 3 times more likely to die in childbirth. And they're not doing anything to change this. They're not doing anything to change the fact that, over 60% of the counties in Kentucky don't have a practicing OBGYN. And so when they do things like this, they're using a scare tactic to put people against each other. But interestingly enough, when about 2 years ago, when we were becoming Planned Parenthood Alliance Advocates, our new affiliate did a poll. And they found that 65% of Kentuckians actually supported access to abortion. And that went across political affiliation, religious affiliation, and we broke down why. And they may identify as pro-life, but they didn't want it illegal. They didn't want it inaccessible. If something happened during a pregnancy, if there was anything that they needed to make this decision, like the fear of not having access at all. They may not like abortion, but making it illegal was not popular. And I do think we have our work cut out for us, but I think that people understand what is happening now, and I think that we are at a crossroads to bring people together, and especially around our intersectional values, and fight back and win in 2022. And I think that there's a lot of things that are developing to really create a transformational year for Kentucky politics in 2022.
Well, amen to that. We need some transformation here in Kentucky, that is for sure. But it's interesting because is this bill like necessary? Is there anything in the Kentucky Constitution that makes you think that the right to an abortion is protected currently? I know that it's the law of the land because of Roe versus Wade, and that is very much in the crosshairs of the right. And I know that thanks to Mitch McConnell and his hypocritical use of power, and whenever he possibly can. They have stacked the court in a very real way. And so who knows what happens when this issue gets brought up again. I think we're going to find out relatively soon, which is a little bit frightening. But yeah, is there any, like, does Kentucky have to have this thing? Like, or like, did I miss it? I mean, I'll be honest, I have not read the Kentucky Constitution. But is there anything in there in your read that makes you think that abortion is protected?
No, not no. I will preface, I'm not the lawyer here, but no, I don't think that there is. And Kentucky has been one of those states to pass every anti-abortion law in the last 5 years. I mean, they've been leading the way on even creating new ones that other states haven't done. And we already have what's called a trigger ban. So if Roe v. Wade falls in whole or in part, so if anything of Roe v. Wade is changed, that becomes law of the land in Kentucky. And so the 15-week ban out of Mississippi is headed to the Supreme Court, and we'll be hearing the decisions next June, so a year from now. And it's scary. I mean, this is the fight that we have been screaming is going to happen, with the Supreme Court. We knew that they were going to make abortion part of their docket in some way. And even with this 15-week ban going to the Supreme Court, there's still 15 more cases that the Supreme Court could take. And so, but with them taking this 15-week ban, which is something that Kentucky does have and is in the courts, so we probably will be joining in some fashion. I'm sure Daniel Cameron can't wait to go and join Mississippi. Kentucky abortion politics are going to likely change. And we have this trigger ban in place, and it's an immediate, as an emergency clause pending any changes with Roe. So there is no need for this constitutional amendment other than to play political games with reproductive health on a more broad scale, through the, dividing and conquering the Kentucky, Kentuckians. And that's all I see from this. This is political warfare that they're taking to the ballot.
Yeah, 100%. I think that, when I heard about this, it just all became perfectly clear to me what the strategy was, right? So, the last time we had a statewide election, things went very well for Republicans. They had Donald Trump at the top of the, ticket. That was just, as I've said before, rocket fuel for turnout for that.
But I'll say something about turnout. It was
Mhm.
the same turnout from the 2016 elections. He didn't turn out more people, like this. It was like a hair, like a percentage hair, more people. Like it wasn't like more Kentuckians were coming out to vote. I think people weren't excited to also vote, people on the fence, not knowing. And I think that's where we have the opportunity to change things in Kentucky, that we need to do the grassroots campaigning and really bring people who are directly impacted by, constitutional amendment or voting access to these tables and have them leading these coalitions. And I'm really excited. We're in the beginning stages, but we do have a coalition coming together that's really exciting. That's going to, I hope, be part of that transformational process, not only in how politics run, but how people are talking about abortion too.
Yeah, I think we need to talk about it more. I think generally, we need to educate people about this issue. I think you're right that 65%, surveys kind of astounding to a degree. But, people, there's a difference between like being pro-abortion and not wanting it to be illegal in all cases, and not wanting people to have the access when it is,
I have a question, but who is actually pro-abortion?
No one.
No one. And that's the other side, they do a great job at their PR, their marketing, because as someone that has run for office, and you would often hear people in places like Montgomery County, Clark County, who would say, but you're pro-abortion. And my statement is that no one in their right mind is pro-abortion. We're out there for the woman's right to choose to do whatever to do with her body and not be governed by the government, but carry on.
No, and I think it goes beyond. I mean, who has been the leading Republican filing these bills? Representative Joe Fisher. What is the first bill he pre-filed this year? The critical race theory. He is all about control. If you're
Yes.
not a white man, you need to be controlled. Your histories need to be erased. Your uteruses need to like have a closed door, like it's all about control and the fear of somebody else having power. And I think that that's where a lot of these bills take root. It's fear of sexuality, it's fear of freedom, it's fear of what does our history mean then, if we did this. Like it takes him down he thinks it takes him down a peg. I think
then I believe we need a counter amendment on the ballot about if they're looking to, about abortion, let's do it the opposite side. We can make a amendment for males to have a vasectomy, if they've had more than enough, children. Let's do this.
No, and
somebody file that bill. Good luck finding that bill. I think
go ahead.
Sorry, Tamara. I just wanted to say, Joe Fisher, we talked about him last week. He was, in fact, our worst politician of the moment last week. I don't know if Ken can find that graphic and put it back up there, but now that you've connected those dots, I think that for sure he needs to hold the baton one more week. But yeah, it's about control, and it's about, it's about firing up their people, right? They know that putting this on the top of the ticket will give them unchecked access to pulpits across our state, our Commonwealth. Every Sunday there's a whole handful of preachers, or many handfuls of preachers, that are willing to rail against this. They won't rail against childhood poverty, they won't rail against all these things that Jesus actually talked about, right? But they will do this, and that is, they want their base fired up, and we've got to get out there and deal with the miseducation about the misinformation, and give the fact-based, common sense approach to why this access is so critical.
Yeah, we need to be bold. We need to not stigmatize the care, but we need to call out these actions. And I feel like it's something that they're not used to having, done. Like really bold action, call them out, and have candidates who are unafraid to talk about it. I know in Kentucky, when I show up, people are like, oh my God, it's Planned Parenthood, and I get the down eyes, and I love you, but don't come with me with your questionnaire. This, 2022, you're going to have to talk about abortion, whether you like it or not. It's on the ballot. Like, you can't run from this. And, somebody and love has had an abortion. 1 in 4 women have had an abortion by the time they're 45, wow. And it's just so enmeshed in stigma that it doesn't have the same storytelling that we saw come out of the LGBTQ movement when they were doing their narrative change. And Kentucky is a hard place to share that story, but we need to start breaking down those barriers, because it's not just abortion, it's maternal health. Maternal health is suffering in this state, and it's a component of maternal health.
Right. Yeah. And also, since you are with Planned Parenthood, I was endorsed by Planned Parenthood, proudly so. And I wore that with a badge of honor, because Planned Parenthood is not only just that one little section about abortions, but it's also about women's health. Planned Parenthood helped save my life when before the Affordable Care Act, because I was without insurance and could not find medical care. It helped save my life. It really did. And so we do talk about the abortion side, which is what you're here to talk about. But I would love for to talk more about what actually Planned Parenthood does on a regular basis, such as the screenings, cancer screenings, about, pregnancy tests, about STD tests, about, our pap smears. It's so much more than what the public and what the rural people have branded Planned Parenthood for being,
And I'll tell you, we have a lot of people from rural Kentucky coming to get the care that they can't get at their health department. We provide long-acting reversible contraception. They can't get IUDs or implants at most of the health departments, especially not in rural Kentucky. That's not an option for them. And we also see men. Men, comprise a really big part of our population. We provide also PrEP, pre-exposure prophylaxis. I kind of like to call it the like birth control for HIV, you know, so we have a lot of services. We also do smoking cessation. We're like a one-stop shop for most people when they come into us. So we have to screen them for many things while they're coming in. We do smoking cessation, healthy relationships. Are they in a safe relationship? And make sure that they're getting access to whatever they need. We screen them for diabetes, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. You know, we're part of the community, making sure that our members are safe and healthy.
And
Awesome.
so you all did you all know that Planned Parenthood did all of that?
I mean, maybe not, I didn't hear about PrEP, but the rest of it I was.
So you all that are watching this, I'm asking you all, did you know that Planned Parenthood does all of those things? Be honest. Put it right there in the comments. I want to know when I go back and look at the comments to see what if you knew this or not, because a lot of people don't know the real things that Planned Parent does every single day in our community that saves lives.
100%.
And I have to say, we were so excited when we endorsed you, Denise.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
I do want to say just one thing really quickly. I've always been an advocate and respectful of Planned Parenthood. I'm, you know, at this point in time, I'm 53 years old. And when I was in my younger 20s, I went to Planned Parenthood to get my birth control. I know that Planned Parenthood has helped so many of my family members, close friends of mine, especially when we were younger and we did not have the money to put into our private insurances. And even then, they did more than if you went to your regular OBGYN a lot of times. And I do really respect the work that you're doing, because I had a good close friend of mine, her sister right here in Kentucky, in Paducah, died from a back alley abortion. And so women are going to get abortions, whether, you know, we like it or not, no matter what your faith is, it's going to happen. It's always happened. I know I heard about drinking 2 of those laxative sodas or whatever, and you know that could abort a baby. You hear all kinds of things that can truly hurt your body, and women are going to get abortions if they get raped, incest. You know, I have another friend, they knew that the baby was going to have spina bifida, and they went on and had the abortion. So I really respect what you're doing, and I do understand it, and I just thank you for all the hard work that you are doing. I really appreciate you.
Yes.
Thank you. And, you know, one of the things, you know, abortions didn't just miraculously start happening after Roe v. Wade. What we're going to see is that privileged white women are going to get abortions, and those who aren't are going to turn to desperate means to access whatever they find on the internet, by a friend who knows a friend who knows a friend who knows a friend. Abortions are going to happen. They need to be safe.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tamara. You know, excited to hear that you're kind of putting together the kind of coalition and the campaign, and, you know,
Can't wait to hear
if you
about
need
it.
us, if you need us, we're there. We're 100% behind this effort, and we'd love to have you back as you kind of, you know, formulate the game plan. We'd love to hear how we can help and how all of our viewers can be engaged and support.
No, I'd love to give the spot. I mean, we have amazing people who've joined. We have a Black Birthing Coalition that's on leadership. We have Black Lives Matter. We have, I believe, Kentucky Health Justice Network, Fairness, ACLU. We have some rural Appalachian voices that are joining the leadership. Like, you're going to be tired of me, so we'll uplift some of their voices.
Never. But thank you so much.
Thank
We appreciate your time this evening. Sorry to bring you on a little bit late, but everyone has a lot to say tonight. There's a lot, and we really appreciate the glimpses of your cats from time to time, for sure.
I locked them up. They get out.